Howdy folks, thanks for tuning in to F&D Outdoors. You're here for installment number 3 of the Big Guy Gear Review. You can see my sleeping bag in the back there, same one I've used on pretty much most of my trips, and that's the Slumberjack Ultra Packer. Now it's 40 inches wide, so essentially it's 80 inches, 40 and 40 around, and I fit in there really comfortably. But it's also kind of bulky, which we'll see, and it's also a little heavy, which isn't a problem. But it's a great sleeping bag. It's worked fantastic. But here at F&D Outdoors, we're trying to get lighter. And not only in gear, but also in size. So that's going well. I've lost, I guess, since the inception of the channel, 33 pounds, 36 if you include the 3 pounds I put on right after I started the channel. But today we're going to review the Aegismax large sleeping bag off of Amazon. It was like 80 bucks. And see how it stacks up. My main concern, my main concern is how wide it is. Now this is how small it packs down. That's perfect. But we're gonna get this out and we're gonna pack that bag up, see how they compare in size packed up. But we're also gonna lay this on top. Now the difference is that's a 20-degree bag, and the fleece liner in my winter bushcraft video, makes it like a below zero bag. Well below zero because I was toasty. This is about a 50-degree bag, but guess what? It's summer, and even though it's rainy right now, I'm going kayaking next weekend, and it's going to be 90 degrees out and hot, and you still want that sleeping bag for at night, but I think this should be fine. So let's go to the tail of the tape. All right, so you can see that my sleeping bag there is 40 inches wide. I have the Aegismax here. Now, I am about 62 inches wide, and from what I understand, and I'll put the dimensions up, you probably already saw them in the beginning of the video, but this is about 64 inches wide, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. So ideally, I'll fit into it, and with a little bit of room. Now, this one's really comfortable. This bag is really slick in terms of it's like literally slippery. So let's take a look, pull it out and see. Now this is ultralight goose down feathers. You can see it's super thin, super lightweight, but that's all we're really looking for here is something for that sleeping bag comfort factor. I don't know if I'm buying the width on this thing. So we're just going to lay it right here on top of this bad boy. Well, we'll see. Pull the tape, and we'll see from side to side. Yeah, she's about 32 inches. So 32 and 32 is 64. Technically that should fit. Let's give it a go. Slip zipper's on the wrong side that I'm used to. Okay, it's a half zipper, it doesn't go all the way down. Whoop. Aegismax. Sorry for the views. Very slippery. I don't know. Okay. So for how I like to sleep, which is like this, it's not as easy to put on as I would have liked, but it actually fits, and I'm already getting a little warm, probably from all the wriggling around. It's a little space to move. Let's face it, when it's warm out, I'm gonna sleep like this anyways. All right, this is gonna work. I like that. Now let's go take a look at some of the other features. I just opened the box in front of the camera, so no pre-studies. Okay, so now we know that I fit, which I am actually incredibly surprised about. I mean, I have plans to continue to get smaller, so that's only going to get better as time goes on. The zippers seem to come and go without flaw. I mean, again, it's brand new, just out of the box in front of you guys. Zippers work fine. Right now, anyways, no issues. And I mean, it's goose down, but I don't see any feathers coming out of the bag or the seams or anything. Let's talk about some of the other advantages. So we know that it's 64 inches around, which gives us big guys just enough space if you wanted to go something light like this. They included this bag, I assume, to store it in when you're not putting it in its ultralight container so that it, you know, stays fluffy. Versus the bag for my other sleeping bag. So let's wrap these things up. First we'll see how easy this is to pack away, but then let's wrap these things up and compare how big they are, because size matters, especially when it comes to gear. Man, I just can't make that sound any better. Let's see, this is kind of folded. Slippery bag. Cue the high speed. Alright, and slow it down. Okay, so that took a little longer than I wanted. This bag's really slick, but look how small that got. That's pretty small. Now let's see if we can crank it down even more. Which, not that I want to when I pack, because I don't know how delicate this wrapper is yet. I guess we'll find that out kind of over time. Let's see here. At its bulgiest spot, it's about 16.5 inches around and about 10 inches long. So, you know, it's packed pretty good, and I'm sure I could tighten this even more. But I think that's pretty adequate. Now, the big sleeping bag, which we'll do in high speed, but I suspect is going to go a lot faster. Okay, this sleeping bag, it's not fully compressed. It does compress, but most sleeping bags don't. This has a little bit of compression on the sack, not that it makes it any less long. I mean, you're not going to put this in your backpack, but it squishes it down a little smaller. There we go. Still though, at its bulkiest point, this is about 31.5 inches wide. And we'll give it a conservative, well, I guess let's give it 23 inches long. So here's our side-by-side. So you can see the size comparison. Now that's pretty significant. So here's what I used to carry. That's that sleeping bag, the Slumberjack, and a typical thermarest, a standard size thermarest. And here's what I'll be carrying with me this coming weekend. Now this is that Aegismax ultralight sleeping pad, and unfortunately it looks like it's no longer available, but there's about a half a dozen of comparable mats available on Amazon for that size and weight. But look at the side-by-side. That is significant. Now let's do the next test. Let's see what the weight is compared to my regular sleeping bag and this Aegismax. Alright, and just as a quick reminder, none of this is supposed to be bad about the Slumberjack. This is my favorite sleeping bag forever, and I wish that they still made it. I'd buy another one. But not that I need it, because this one's held up for 15 years and still works great. But we're at 0 here on the scale. Let's see what we weigh here. Okay, so 5 3/4. Is that coming through? 5 3/4 about in terms of weight. So it's backwards there, but 5.75. I know it might not seem fair because this one has a tag on it. It's a really heavy tag. But let's see what this one weighs now. Let's set this back to 0. One and a quarter. So, wow, that is 4.5 pounds lighter in my bag. That makes me really happy. So that's awesome. So I fit in it. Zippers seem to work well. It's definitely is significantly. It's a quarter of the weight about than my other bag, and it's going to take up a lot less room in my gear. So I'm pretty excited that it fits. I wasn't sure. In terms of how durable it is, we're going to find out. So stay tuned in to F&D Outdoors, and you'll see me using this bag. Got another camping trip. I'm going to start using this in just a week. And then I have another Big Guy Gear review on a $20 hammock that holds 1,000 pounds from Amazon. So there's another outrageous claim. I couldn't get that much weight in it if I had my entire family in there, which is what we're going to do. So, but thanks for tuning in to F&D Outdoors. Please subscribe right there. And hit like, hit the bell so you get notifications. And if you have any other suggestions for things that you'd like to see, that'll be great. Obviously, Big Guy Gear Review can only last for as long as I'm big. That should be a lot longer, but hopefully not forever. But thanks for tuning in again. Have an excellent day, and maybe you could try the Aegismax sleeping bag. I don't know.